With NBA player Jordan Clarkson of the Cleveland Cavaliers now in the game, officials of the Samahang Basketbol ng Pilipinas and the PBA must be banging their heads on the wall. They just lost their biggest chance to put together a really strong team for the Asian Games. Now, if they're not banging their heads, these big bosses should have their heads examined. Imagine our country marching into the Asian Games with a team made up of top PBA players, with the Cavalier Clarkson as catalyst. That must be an intimidating sight for all our enemies. Sending Clarkson is like sending Achilles to march on Troy at a time when no one has yet heard of his Achilles heel. But that will not happen now. Instead, the opposition at the Asian Games in Indonesia will look at our team and laugh behind our backs. Because what they will see is a ragtag band of players looking uneasy, fear in their eyes, with this very possible marching order. Okay, guys, just avoid getting routed by 50 points in the first quarter. Blame the SBP for what could be a rout anyway. Mark this, we are not wishing it, we are ruining it. Blame the SBP for not having the vision to prepare for the Asian Games. Blame the SBP for having Plan A and no Plan B. Blame the SBP for putting so much into the FIBA campaign, it's forgot we do have other commitments. Blame the SBP whose survival plan is to quit before the fight begins. Only when confronted with an uprising, such as when basketball fans pummeled the SBP for taking itself out of the ASEAN, did it decide to change direction and agree to send a team. With that kind of preparation, naturally we managed to send a second-rate team. Basketball officials will, of course, disagree with this assessment. But how can they? The team they scrambled to put together has not even had 2 solid weeks of practice, was recruited haphazardly during hours of panic, and was built around a core, my apologies to the brave rain or shine boys, that has not seen a PBA finals in years. Days before the tournament, coaches were still tweaking a lineup whose chief rim defender will be 45-year-old veteran Aussie Tolava. Mark this again, if the Philippine team wins, somebody up there loves us. When Clarkson arrives to see the team he will lead, he might actually ask himself, am I in the wrong universe? Because he could be looking around for Junmar Fajardo, Greg Slaughter, Japeth Aguilar, and other PBA stars who won't be there because the PBA schedule has paid no attention to international tournaments. Clarkson's arrival would have been the best thing for the national team in years. He is a certified star, an active NBA player, and one proud of his Filipino heritage. He cannot even be compared with Andre Blatch or Marcus Douthit, 2 naturalized Filipinos who served our country well, but who hardly connected with the locals. Clarkson is different. Proud of his Filipino heritage, he went out of his way to engage local basketball fans during his visit here. His manner was so endearing that our basketball officials, at first sight of him, recruited him for the national team. And although he is committed to the NBA, where he receives a salary that the most valuable Filipino player can only dream about, Clarkson was clearly open to playing for Achilles Pilipinas. The possibility that playing could cause him serious injury and jeopardize his entire career did not deter the fellow. And so, here he is. But because of the lack of planning over here, because of the basketball boss's short-sightedness, Clarkson will play for the country only in the second game against China, according to reports. He will miss what is considered the more important game, the one against Kazakhstan, today, Thursday. This one is a must-win game because the next one will already be against China, the favorite to win the championship. The Philippines needs just one win to advance to the next round. That is also, of course, the objective of Kazakhstan and China, two teams that historically have brought heartache to Philippine teams. By the way, China will be parading not one, but two NBA players. With Clarkson joining the Philippines, that will probably even out the Chinese advantage of having two NBA players, but it will now leave the outcome in the hands of ill-prepared, ill-practiced, ill-psyched Filipino players who will go up against a very prepared and very tall Chinese squad. Needless to say, China is a heavy favorite to win against us. A victory against Kazakhstan is survival. Can we do it without Clarkson? We can hope, or we can join those basketball officials beating their heads against the wall.